Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast between the 8th to the 11th of September 2025. How are you this week? Are you well? You look well. Good, marvellous. Hi, Ree, how are you this week?
I'm all right, Rob. How are you?
I'm all right. I tell you what, another good week for EastEnders this week. NTAs, people, come on. I mean,
Enter applause.
that award cabinet is sagging as we speak right now. They're going to need to put it up with scaffolding. The rate it's going after this year.
They need another one, if anything. They're just going to have to get another 3 cabinets, I think.
Just get a wardrobe. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
A wardrobe for awards cabinet. That's what he's. That was
Yeah.
that an awards wardrobe. Anyway, so Steve McFadden.
Somewhere to put all of the
Somewhere
awards.
to put all of them. They need an aircraft hangar.
Yes.
Somewhere out there is Steve McFadden, who I am assuming is feeling pretty damn fine about himself because he finally won the best serial drama performance at the NTAs. It was a fantastic moment, very emotional. The whole cast was delighted for him. It was a really, really fantastic moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, do you know what? I actually had a friend who doesn't watch EastEnders message me to say that they were crying at him winning. Because they felt it that much, you were very humble, wasn't he?
He was.
As well?
He is
Very
Steve
humble.
McFadden.
It's going viral, isn't it? All cast jumping up
him.
and applauding him, and
They love him.
Sat there like.
Yeah, they absolutely love that man, and quite right too.
Fair.
He's very respected, which is great. Even my mum messaged me and said, "Oh, Phil McFadden won an award." I was like, "Yes, Mum, yes, Mum, he did, yes." And then, of course, they finished the night with winning best soap at the NTA. It's the second NTA award win in a row. Was it the third? A third, I think, wasn't it?
We're at best serial.
Best serial drama. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Best serial drama. So it's the NTA. So they used the more official term, serial drama. Best continuing drama. But they won it. Marvellous. Fantastic. What a way to end I mean, yes, we're in the Ben Wade era now, but it was a nice sort of little dovetail to Chris Clenchill's era, I think, wasn't it?
I thought this because I was wondering that. I was like, I wonder if Chris Clenchill's there as well, because it is kind of like his era at the same time, isn't it? But I guess it's
half and half. Yeah, you pass the book over, and then it's all, and then the new guy comes in. Yeah, I'll take that award. Thank you very much.
I love that award. Yeah.
Thank you very much. No, cast, all of
you
you can start off. That's going right on my mantelpiece. Thank you very much.
Hey, he's what, he's doing all right.
He is doing all right. It's the Wadester.
Yeah,
he's doing all right as Wadester. That's our nickname for him now. We had Clenners.
Wadester.
And now we've got Wadester.
Wadester.
There you go.
Interesting.
The Wadester. Right, ladies and gents, talking of the Wadester, we've got another week to discuss this week. Quite a busy old week. We've got quite a few little developments to discuss, including starting off with the return of Jono. Very short-lived return.
There's been longer exit.
Yeah, there's been longer returns in the history of the show. Let's be real.
Yeah, there are. We are still having. It did feel slightly rushed. I'm not.
We'll talk about that in a moment, my dear. Talk about that in a moment. In this week's Albert Square After Dark. So let's kick off this week. We're talking about Callum and Johnny and Jono, all the Johns. So this basically starts with Callum sitting minding his own business in the Albert, and all of a sudden he hears a kerfuffle going on outside, and Eve is being sort of homophobically attacked. Now, I've been homophobically attacked in the past 3. I want to keep it light, but what I would say is it was a bit worse than being called "you stupid lesbian." That's been worse.
I never knew that, Rob.
I know it upskittles you, but "you stupid lesbian," I'd have thought, it's not it's a mild homophobic attack, I would say.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, it's still a
it is.
Nonetheless.
It is.
It could have
upskittles
said
you.
worse, but still literally
what do you
attacked
say?
her, physically attacked her.
Well, he did. So Callum rushes outside and rugby tackles a bloke to the ground, and lo and behold, it transpires to be Jono Highway, his daddy. I mean, when because we knew that Jono was going to be meeting his end, hence why Ben is soon returning. Did you expect to actually see him?
No, I just assumed off screen that he would have died, and then Callum would be going to the funeral.
Yeah,
but it kind of makes sense how they've done it, because they needed Johnny to be more involved in.
Oh, he was involved.
Goodbye, I guess.
He was involved.
Wow.
So Callum actually arrests his dad, which fair enough. I can understand that completely, because the man is a scuzzball.
When it's a hate crime,
Well, exactly. And so Johnny's taken to the police station, and Johnny then decides Johnny then decides that he's going to pretend to be Jono's legal representation so that he can sort of try and fix Jono and Callum's relationship. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, he's trying to suss Jono out so that Callum doesn't get hurt trying to do that himself in a way. I think
I
that's what
mean,
he was trying to do, weren't it? That was
well,
his
deep
idea.
down, what he was trying to do is like, right, I need to see what my future father-in-law is going to look like. Really,
Oh
doesn't it?
yeah,
Let's
and
be
that,
real.
yeah.
Let's be real. So he goes and has a conversation with Jono, and I think fairly quickly sort of gets the cut of his jib. I think he kind of sees through him quite quickly, but decides, his personal opinion on the matter isn't enough. That doesn't matter really. It's up to Callum to make this decision. So he sort of kind of arranges this situation where Jono basically says, "Yeah, I do want to see Callum. I want to try and sort. I want to try and sort things out." So he goes to Callum and tells him what he's done. I was expecting Callum to be a bit angrier
With
for
what? With in regards to what he's done?
for him sort of
Oh,
interfering.
Johnny. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. I thought that, but you were very like, oh, you were just trying to help. Well, obviously
yeah,
he's got
yeah.
goggles on for Johnny,
Smitten,
hasn't he?
smitten. Yes.
Do you know what though? To be fair, I got fully convinced by Johnny myself. When Johnny was
Did
sat
you?
with him in the pub, yeah,
Mm.
and he was saying that oh, my mum didn't take to my out, me coming out well, but now we're really close. I genuinely thought Johnny were like, oh, maybe I should give
You're.
it a
I
go.
was see. I was expecting him at that point to say, "Oh, your mum sounds hot. That's me and her could get on."
No, I
Got a
I thought
number.
he'd like genuinely got through to him a little bit actually, and he was like genuinely wanted to make it up to Callum.
I see. I wasn't convinced. I mean, I know I sounded trite at the start, but homophobia isn't something that just goes
Well, no,
away in a
you.
couple of days, is
Well,
it?
yeah, no, you're right. But I mean, putting that as a side as much as you can.
Yeah.
I did genuinely think he wanted to make some kind of genuine amends with Callum.
I mean, I wasn't.
I
I
don't
wasn't.
believe it now, obviously,
No, I
but at
wasn't
the
expecting.
time, I was
I
fully
was.
duped.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting his ultimate motive as it transpired,
Yes.
but I wasn't. I wasn't like totally convinced. So he explains to Callum what he's done, and Callum basically like, right, okay, yeah, I'll give him a chance. Fair play. So John arranges the meeting. Just pause. I quite enjoyed when Callum and Phil were having a conversation about it the next day. Phil just casually offering to a policeman, I'll have him killed. That's fine. I'm a busy man today. I've got to sort Nigel out, but I can do it before tea time. That's not a
Yeah,
problem.
no biggie, no biggie. Callum, just give
Do
me
you
the
want me to
nod if
sort?
you.
Yeah, do you want me to sort him out? Have him killed? That's not a problem. It's like, is this
I
how
think.
much? Is this how much reverence Callum really has as a police officer that Phil can just quite cheerfully say, "I can have him off. That's not a problem. I can get it sorted. No drama."
I think he knew Callum wouldn't agree to it, but he was trying to. That was Phil's roundabout way of saying, "I'm here for you if you need
That's
it.
the
Let me know
strange
if you
thing,
need
isn't it?
ambling."
That's the
Yeah,
mad thing about Phil Mitchell. It's
yeah,
sort of like, yeah,
yeah,
that's Phil being supportive. Fair play.
yeah, yeah. Because that's what he said to Johnny
Yeah,
after. He was like,
yeah,
"Oh, you were actually being really
yeah.
nice.
He offered to kill my
Threatening
dad and
to off my dad."
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's such a nice man. So. So the meeting is arranged for Callum's flat. Johnny says, "Right, okay, I'll hang around. I'll sit in the bedroom and do some work or something."
yeah,
He wasn't doing work at all. He was watching YouTube. Don't lie to me, Johnny. And Jono arrives,
yes,
and it doesn't go well. Let's be real here. Well, for a start, Jono is busy like downing beers when all Callum really wants to do is make him a cup of tea. He claims he's
yes. It did
nervous,
seem like
but
it was quite early morning still. Like,
yeah,
wasn't drinking beer time, was it?
not really, not really. Just a
No,
four pack of cans. Didn't even offer Callum one either. He was planning on just like going
no.
through all those four on his own. Not a problem. Um, and so the pair of them sort of start to try and have a like sort of semi-adult, sensible conversation, and it sort of seems maybe that Callum and that they're thawing out towards each other a little bit. He's taking the mick out of. I have to say, when he started laughing about the fact that Ben was in prison and that Callum was with him, I was sort of like, yeah, I get that.
I mean, yeah,
It's not
yeah.
the most unfairest point anyone could ever make.
No.
But then he sees a picture of Lexi on the wall and is sort of like, she's beautiful, fair play, I'm sorry I laughed. And it all seems to be going all right. And then, well, he sort of says to Callum, I'm not long for this world. And Callum's sort of like, what, have you got cancer or something? And he just says, well, no, but, the doctor's saying, hi, they've told me I've got to knock the drinking on the head. So in
Mm.
Jono's world, that means I'm going to be dead soon because he's got to stop drinking and he's got high cholesterol and all that kind of thing, which I feel like is fairly normal when you get to Jono's age, isn't it?
I don't know, actually. I'm just thinking as you're saying it, and one of my in-laws' friends, like, basically got told kind of the same as Jono of like, yeah, you're just like, there's nothing like specifically
Yeah.
wrong,
But
but
trust
like
me, there are minutes
everything, it's a
left.
bit of everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, It really is minutes because they start having an argument because Callum sort of gets into his kind of works out, and I think he's probably right that because Johnny starts whinging about the fact that he's been arrested, he's going to need legal representation and everything. That's going to cost him the earth. He's out of the job. He's not allowed benefits or any of this kind of thing, and he's basically, it seems, trying to just worm his way back into Callum's life in order to get a bit of money. Because he even made that
Yeah.
comment when he first arrived, going, "Oh, this place yours, is it? Not bad. You've done all right for yourself."
Mm.
So I feel like Callum was kind of spot on with that, wasn't he?
Yeah, do you know what? I didn't even click until you just said about that comment. But yeah, you're right. And again, up until this point, he completely fooled me. I was like, oh, he
Mm.
genuinely is trying in his own way to make amends. And, look at how Phil used to be. Now he's very accepting of Ben.
Yeah.
Maybe this is Jono. And then this is why Callum's going to be so upset because he'll think, oh, we were just starting to get along for the first time in years. And no, 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 none of that. And I agree. It was clear that he actually thought, oh well, I need a place to keep, don't I? Because I'm basically on the
Mm.
streets. Because I thought he said he was with his mate, and he's trying to put blame on his mate for attacking Eve, but his mate's the only one who's like gave him a place to live. And I thought, what are you doing, shopping him into the police then?
That's probably why he's got nowhere to live at the minute. The mate's gone,
Ah,
you can
could be,
you
yeah.
can narn us.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, you can now as well. You love
so
that saying, don't
I
you?
do. It's so northern. So like Kim and Callum start having this argument. Then basically, Johnny sort of bursts in like everything all right, anything I can do. So come in to save the day, and then Jono has a heart attack and collapses to the ground. And Callum goes down, and Johnny says to him, "Right, you're medically trained, yeah." And it transpires Callum is medically trained, but is utterly useless in a medical emergency.
Well, I don't think it is in any medical emergency, but I think when it's like your own family member, it's
Yeah,
totally different. And I think if it had been a stranger on the street, he'd have gone into,
maybe,
police emergency mode. But because it were in his apartment with his own dad, he just
yeah,
kind of panicked and didn't
maybe.
really know what to do. But yeah, actually, I were at first I were a bit confused, like why is he trying to go and get Anthony? But actually, it weren't that far for him to really go, I guess. But
Well.
anyway,
So Callum
further
rushes
in it.
out, like you say, to get Anthony.
Mm.
It doesn't take long, however, for Jono to pass away. However, just before he passes away, he manages to squeeze out one last little bit of homophobia, and Johnny is there, and only Johnny is there to hear Jono's final words. I'm so glad that Jono's dead because Johnny and Jono is a difficult thing to keep saying over and over. Um, his last words are that he is ashamed of Callum, and then he
Mhm.
just sort of dies there and then. Now, what did you think Johnny was going to do with this information? I thought he was going to tell him straight away, but I'm glad he didn't.
No, I didn't think you were going to tell him straight away. To be fair, I don't know what I thought he was going to do, but what I think he should have done is just said that he didn't say anything
Mm,
instead
yeah,
of lying that he said something really nice and just saying what he knows that Callum would have want to have heard. Like he should have just said he didn't say anything. Sorry, he just passed.
yeah. Ow is what he said, and then he died. That's what you should have said.
Yeah.
Um, yes, and then Callum and Johnny back upstairs again, and a nice last duff duff of the week. Bit of grief sex. Not had this for a while, have we?
No. I
I mean,
mean,
I
bit
mean,
quick.
a bit
Quick,
quick. I
innit?
mean, I don't know if,
My
given the
dad's just died.
circumstances,
Get
yeah,
me over here.
my dad, get in the room. In fact, don't even bother. Get on the floor where he died. Go on, get
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
nothing makes you hornier than your dad dying in front of you, is it?
Well, clearly, evidently,
Clearly,
in the same
clearly.
spot, yeah.
I mean,
When you
fair
put it
enough.
like that.
When you put it like that, what do you think? I mean, this is the thing. I like them together, and I know I don't feel like I'm supposed to be liking them together that much. But Callum's sort of all like, "Yeah, I realise what I want, and it's you." So,
I
the
like them
lawyer,
together.
I like them together.
I prefer him. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, so do I. So
I'm
do
gonna
I.
say.
Sorry,
Do you
Ballum
know
fans.
why
You can
though?
throw
Let
all
me
the abuse you
justify
like at
it.
us.
Let me justify it though, right?
Sure.
And show the different dynamic.
Okay.
Ben and Callum. Callum's always looking after Ben, right?
Yep.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who say no, there've been occasions, right? Fine,
Occasions.
but it's nice for Callum to have somebody looking after him for a while. And actually, I think it'd be quite balanced between them two.
Yep.
And when Johnny needs, some help, Callum will be there, and they'll both be there for each other rather than just one of them getting themselves into situations and the other one always having to pick the pieces up. I think they're a very, very good dynamic, other than the fact that he's just lied about what his
I mean,
dying
you
dad
would
said to
though,
him.
would
That
you would
aside,
though, wouldn't you? Like,
it
what
was for
honestly,
the right intention,
what would it
like
have
right
achieved
reasons.
at that moment? Telling him, or at any point at this, what would have been the point?
Do you know what? In fairness, all it would have achieved would be Jono getting his last word in, which you wouldn't want to
Yeah,
give him, actually.
exactly.
But
Like
it puts
his,
Johnny in a very awkward position. I actually
I,
feel sorry for him.
I don't know if it feels. Yeah, I mean, it's horrible for him to be aware of what those last thoughts
Mm,
were, but I feel like because especially seeing as though he was the one that was sort of instigated these two trying to basically come back into
yeah.
each other's lives again. There's a side of me that kind of thinks that it would he Callum would. I mean, I assume at some point what he actually said is going to be revealed,
Yeah, of course.
but I kind of think that in Johnny's mind, it makes Callum happier to know that maybe in his last dying moments, Jono wanted to sort of reconnect with him and start a proper relationship with him again.
Yeah, I think I get it. Like I say, he was just trying to say what he thought Callum wanted to hear.
Mm,
But it was completely false as well. Like, I wouldn't
that's
have
the
let him
complete
have.
opposite.
Although, actually, having said that, in a way, I guess Johnny would be more annoyed at that. So,
Well,
ha, two
exactly, because
fingers up
his
at
last,
Johnny because I'm going to say
yeah,
that instead, I
because
guess,
he
in a
was
way,
literally in his last gasping moments having to really make an effort to say those last
to
words that he
remain
said.
homophobic.
Yeah, so actually, I feel like it would just be completely against his final wishes in order to say that. So why wouldn't you
But,
do that in given the
but,
circumstances?
but would Callum want to know the truth? Like we said, maybe down the line. I don't think now's the right time to say it. Having
No,
said that, had Callum remained in the room, Johnny would have said it to him anyway.
true, but then he didn't get that
And then he would.
opportunity, did he?
No, true. But still, it like you say, it's going to come out down the line. I think Johnny's going to. Oh God, it is confusing. I think
Told you,
Johnny.
told you.
I
Thank
think
God he's dead.
Johnny is
Rest
going to
in hell, you
confide in it. Yeah,
complicated name
rest in hell.
combination.
I
Yes.
think Johnny is going to confide in Elaine about what he said, and
Oh,
Elaine
maybe.
will no doubt let it slip. I don't know in what scenario, but of course she
After
will.
too many Irish creams, maybe. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah, yeah. Drinks are on the ass, Callum.
Drinks.
By the way.
Ah. So, so I mean, as far as the last scene of the week, with them kind of ripping each other's clothes off 5 minutes after Jono had passed away. I mean, it is that is what it is, isn't it? It's sort of like this takes us into, I think, where we're going with the funeral. I don't know when the
Yeah.
funeral actually happens because there's nothing in any of the spoiler sort of things coming up over the next couple of weeks
Well,
about this. But
generally speaking, I think the longest a funeral can take in the UK is about 4 weeks ish. So it's
oh
going to
right,
be next month, definitely.
okay,
Maybe
okay.
maybe even next week. I don't know.
It's
Week
weird with
after.
soaps though, because sometimes it's like the next day, and sometimes it
Yeah,
takes like
yeah,
6 months or something like
yeah,
that, doesn't it?
yeah.
Yes. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But
Hmm.
it seems that as of right now, Johnny and Callum are an item and a couple, and it seems that for now, Callum's next sort of move is trying to work out how to divorce Ben.
Well, this is what I'm confused by because they've still not split, have they?
No,
Ben and Callum.
no, this is an affair. At this
Yeah,
point,
right. Okay, just to
full blown
clarify,
affair.
it
Yeah,
is an
yeah, this
affair,
is an affair.
right?
This is like when Sharon and Keanu were at it, but effectively in terms of the
But
same sort
more
of
people
situation.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, different, context. Like Ben is in prison in America and all that jazz. Yeah, yeah,
Here's the other thing, right? Okay, so you are in Callum's situation, right, and your
mm.
partner is sent to prison for 6 years,
Mm.
and he is. What are you waiting? Like, I know you're
Yeah, we
engaged, so
said
it's
this before.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you're waiting,
100%
are
be
you? Yeah.
waiting.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like Callum's situation is just a bit different, and because of everything that you said earlier, I feel like he's expected to wait, and I feel like he is going to try and do the right thing, but his mind's wandered, and what support is he going to get from that? Probably
I
not a lot.
mean, there are different situations here because, like, Ben's not exactly the easiest partner anyway and everything.
No,
So
this is the
there are,
thing.
and
This is the
like,
thing.
Callum's a detective nonetheless, and
No,
Ben's
yes,
being put away in a foreign prison. Like it's
yes,
not a great look for him, is it?
not really.
But I still think, yeah, no, it's still unethical, Robert.
It
One would
is. I mean,
argue.
look, don't get me wrong, right? I know full well what the ultimate outcome of this is going to be, all right? It's going to be Ben and
Yeah.
Callum all the way. I know it is, right? I've
How is he
accepted
coming
that.
back
Oh,
though?
I'm telling you, he's
Is he
escaping. He's going to
is he coming back
escape.
permanently?
So, when it was first announced that he was returning, it said that the papers said, so it's not quite the same
Yeah.
thing, that he was going to come back for this funeral thing, and then
Yeah.
if that all went well, was the line, further down the line, he would make a permanent return. So it's not
Right, okay.
absolutely set in stone that he's coming back full time yet. And whatever happens at this funeral, I think, will be an indicator of the next direction of Callum's life.
You know what they need to do, don't you, Rob? They need to let the public decide. They should open up a
No,
vote.
no, 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 no. That is never happening again. So on to Nigel, Phil, and Julie now. Phil and Nigel go on an excellent adventure this week, don't they?
Yes, they do, to go and get some long lost treasure.
Buried
Treasure
treasure.
hunt.
I mean, this was all quite sweet. I have to say, I really enjoyed the night, and I think now that they're sort of ironing out the issues that Julie and Phil were having with one another, I kind of really like them as a trio. I think they're working really nicely together, and
Oh,
I I think that my
you still think
initial
there's
theory.
time for Phil and
Oh
Julie?
yes, oh yes,
Foolie?
I Fooly,
No,
I
we're having
really
no
do.
foolie. Thank you
Fooly,
very
fooly,
much.
fooly. Do do do
No.
do do do.
I hope they don't. I genuinely hope that they don't. But she did say that she had an affair with a mechanic who did her
Yes,
MOT.
she might be about to have another one, is what I
How
can
does that
say.
even come about anyway? Jesus.
Never had an affair with a mechanic before. You haven't lived.
I've took my car in for an MOT,
And you
but
didn't
I've
have an
never done
affair while you were
that.
there. You didn't have an
No.
affair. Well,
I
what's the
handed my
point?
key over and went and
What's the
picked it
point?
up.
What's the point in going
Exactly.
for an MOT if you don't have an affair with
Well,
the mechanic while you're there, Ray? For
I need some
goodness
tips
sake.
off Julie, don't I?
You do indeed. So yeah, this all kind of comes out that Julie had an affair when they were
Yeah.
together. I mean, we were theorizing that everything that she was doing on the phone was to do with an affair, and we were sort of like a couple of years wrong with
Hmm.
the plot points at that point, weren't we? Because it turns out, like you say, she had an affair with a mechanic a couple of years ago, and that is where the chickens came from. Because
Yes,
Nigel was sort of
because
like, this will sort us out. I'll kill the chickens and
they were
wind up
the
the neighbours.
glue holding them
Yes,
together, it
David
transpired.
Peckham was vital to their marriage.
Oh.
And rest in peace, David Peckham, as far as I'm concerned. Like, that is the most cruelest death since the sisters.
We were just getting used to him,
I
but we've
know.
got more. I
No, not
mean,
David Peckham, though, are they? Also,
no.
foxes, Lola, you should hang your head in shame.
I saw that a lot this week. People saying that.
Lola, evil Lola. Um, yeah, so the chickens are all dead, and that sort
Mm.
of is what kind of brings up the situation. And Nigel obviously had completely forgotten about the affair, and so he's angry about it all over again.
It's horrible, isn't it, with dementia?
Mm,
Because this is a thing that happens. It's like, remembering that someone's died. Well, like
yeah,
with Debbie, isn't it?
yeah,
Remember
exactly.
going through the grief of Debbie again because he's forgotten and then he's getting reminded. So
Mm.
I think he's writing his book now, so it should be sticking in there, I
You'd hope
think.
so. You'd hope so. But where this does lead to is Phil and Nigel going off in the Morris Minor, and
Yeah.
driving off because Nigel has got a very fixed memory of him and Grant when they were younger. Because this is very common, isn't it? Like they'll remember stuff that happened years and years ago, like
Mhm.
as clear as crystal. They go off and find some buried treasure that Grant
Yeah.
and Nigel had buried in the woods. Now I wasn't entirely sure because Nigel was on about like, oh, this will be tens and thousands of pounds. This will cover my care package, and it's sort of like, what have they buried?
I
Like
know I was trying to figure it out.
a
Oh, like, it's
shipment
going to
of
be loads
drugs.
of. Oh, I was like, it's going to be a load of old £20 notes that
Yeah.
could never get exchanged now. And then I was like, but where would they have got that from as
And why
kids
would they have
anyway?
buried them as kids in the first
Yeah,
place?
yeah.
But yeah, they basically end up going to this huge sort of. Well, I mean, what was it? It wasn't a farm. It was just sort of like a big
An
manor
estate.
land, an
I call it
estate,
an
wasn't it?
estate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And they remember, and Nigel remembers that they buried it. It was buried underneath a huge tree. Like, really
Mm.
pictured the events of how it all happened. Phil's unconvinced. I did love Nigel trying to climb over the gate. That was quite funny. It was a good screen
He
grab.
was funny, bless him. He was determined.
He was.
Well, he had to show Phil, I'm getting there
I'm
one way
getting
or
over
another,
this
mate. So you
gate.
can help
Yes.
me or you
Yeah,
can't.
or you can nanas, yes.
You can be
Um,
honest.
so they do, but then Phil, obviously being Phil, was like, "Oh, give me the spade," and just like whacks the lock off the gate. It's like, we're in, we're in. And so they go and uncover this box that Nigel had buried, and it's a load of football cards, very dusty,
Very
desecrated
dusty.
football cards. I don't know if they're going to be worth that much money, to be honest with you. I don't think they are.
They're not worth anything. I think that's what they
No,
surmise. It wasn't really about whether they were worth anything. It
it was
was
the
more
memory.
about Nigel proving that actually there are parts of my memory
Yeah,
that are working properly.
which is
And,
nice.
it were a nice little mission for him to be like, there is still parts of my memory that are accurate. I know this much.
Mm, yeah, so that was nice and lovely moment where they were sort of just wandering off together, and then the owner of the land was sort of like,
Yeah.
"Oh, get off my land!" And Nigel's like, "Eh, dickhead, eh."
Do you know what I found funny? That Phil like run and they both just kind of like sped walked a bit.
Neither of them have
It's like
ran
we're
for
on hill.
years.
We're on hill. We're not going to run at
We're on
this bit,
it.
are we? Come
Oh,
on.
I'll never catch us going at this pace. Yes. So they get home, and it feels like Nigel's forgotten about the affair again, didn't it?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, because Julie were there hoovering, and he was like, "Oh, you should have come. Where's Julie?" And she's
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Julie, meanwhile, has actually the reason that she was on the phone so much was because she's managed to get herself an interview. I'm assuming at Walford High or Walford,
"Yeah,
yeah, as a teacher. Now, again, I liked. I mean, what do I get the impression then that you're not keen on the trio of them together? Do you reckon that Julie's getting in the way or something then?
I don't like Julie."
I really like her.
Oh dear,
Yeah,
fair.
I really like her.
Maybe she'll grow on me. Do you know what? It's just that she's not being. I feel like she's just. I know that it comes with good intentions, but she's too in Nigel's ear, and she's a bit too bolshy with Phil in his
I
house.
get
Still,
it though.
I know, and I get it. I get it. I do get it.
It does sound like you do get it, Rick.
Do you know what I feel like I need? Do you know what I feel
What?
like I need for me personally?
Yeah,
Right?
go on.
All the rest of you
An
might love
affair
it,
with a
but for
mechanic?
me, no.
Yeah.
I feel like Julie needs to go off for a week, and I want to see Nigel miss her, and then I come back, and then
Right.
I'm all get on. I feel
Okay.
like she needs to go away for a bit so I can appreciate how much Nigel needs her. Because right now I feel like she is just kind of interrupting their peace.
Do you feel that she needs Nigel more than Nigel needs her at this point?
No, I just think that she's a bit bolshy. That's the only word. I think she's a bit
Bullshit.
too bolshy with him. Yeah, I think that she
Yeah.
needs to. But I know, and I get that it all comes from a good place. But I think she needs to just take a step back and because Phil,
Well,
I feel
then,
like Phil's got quite a laid back approach with him, and it kind of
mm,
works.
he didn't have though, did he? This is the thing. He wasn't anywhere near this laid
True.
back before Julie arrived. Like,
That is true.
Phil was stopping him from like going to the cinema, and this was when he wasn't as sort of
True.
deteriorated as he was. So
Yeah.
Phil, if anything, has stepped back from where he was and has almost sort of letting Julie take most of the heavy stuff, I thought.
Fair, actually, when you think of it like that. Yeah. But even still, I've not fully gelled with her yet. That's my
I just think that I get what you're
thinking.
saying, but I think is I get it though from where she's coming from because at the end of the day, as far as she was concerned, her marriage didn't end. Nigel just sort of
Hmm.
went off because he didn't want to leave her with the burden of it all. She considers it to be her duty
Hmm.
that she's there for Nigel throughout all of this sort of thing. And like you say, I think it is all coming from a place of love. I think maybe she's
Yeah.
overcompensating and overdoing it slightly, but I don't know about I think, yes, I think some people are sort of seeing her as very much getting in the way of the Phil and Nigel dynamic, which I understand, but I actually
Hmm.
quite enjoy her as an addition to it. And it's bringing out, again, this softer side of Phil that has been established that
True.
they haven't just abandoned, which is nice to see as well.
Yeah, that is true. Because, like, maybe though next week. Now I feel like Phil and Julie have had a bit of a moment this week where they're gonna click.
They've had a
No, not
moment.
like that. They can click platonically, Robert.
Nobody,
Okay.
Rihanna, clicks platonically in Walford. And I'm telling you know what's going to happen as soon as Nigel dies? More grief sex.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
very same spot where he's just
Anywhere.
passed, more
Yeah.
than
In
likely.
fact, they'll probably just move Nigel out the way. Out the way, Nigel. We need to
Yeah,
have some
before the
grief
ring
sex here.
ambulance or
Yeah,
anything.
God, yeah. Just on top of him. Absolutely.
I really hope
Uh,
they don't go down that route,
well,
but
we'll
yeah.
see. They love doing that with dementia plots in soap, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's always an additional sort of partner involved somewhere along the line. I've found. Like, think about
I know
too
what
the
you.
one, or the one that Corrie did with Eileen. Like, that was all like they had Leslie and Paul and all that kind of thing. That was
Oh
going on as
God,
well,
yeah,
didn't I?
yeah. I
Like, it's
forgot
quite a
about all
common,
that.
it's quite a
Yeah.
common trope with this sort of storyline. I think so. If
I'm
they
just trying to
avoid
think.
that, then fair play. But
Well, they're not really doing that, mind you. I'm a bit behind. I'm watching Corrie. I'm a couple months behind there because they're doing a very similar kind of storyline with Debbie, but it is
oh
being
yes, of
delivered
course,
differently
yeah,
because they've kind of done it from the start of her getting the
yeah,
diagnosis, whereas with Nigel, we've come in about
we're
halfway through,
established.
haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Julie, Julie is supposed to be having this interview at the school, and she's all getting ready to go. George walks in because George is still living with them at this point,
Of course,
and
yeah.
Nigel has a meltdown and can't remember who George is, and becomes convinced that it's the guy that Julie was having the affair with, and
Yeah.
so George has to leave, and Julie's sort of right. Well, I guess I'll just have to stay with you then, Nigel, and kind of misses her interview, but then Phil returns just in time for her to get there in time.
Yeah.
And then the inclination is that the interview went quite well.
Yes. So she's got a job as a teacher at Walford High
Well,
as
we don't
well
know if she's
then.
got the job yet, but
Yeah, but it went
she's
well.
saying that the interview went well. I mean, I don't know whether turning up late to an interview is the best sort of impression to give, but I once missed an interview entirely because I overslept. And then gave some ridiculous excuse that I had been caught in traffic, even though I only lived down the road from the place that I was having the job, and I still got the job. So,
Oh wow.
yeah. So,
Well, to be fair, if she did explain it, or they did say like, "Oh, you're pushing it," but we'll explain on the way that you had a family emergency, which
mm,
is true.
yeah.
But I did think, in fairness, like, what would she do though if she were getting ready to go teach at school and Nigel was having one of these
It
moments?
feels like an intense job to go to and then
Yeah,
to return home to Nigel, doesn't it?
but I guess people do have to do it though, don't they?
Yeah,
Like, people have to still go to
of
work,
course,
whilst
yeah.
otherwise you ain't got any money
Probably
coming in.
probably more intense jobs like nursing or anything like that. Like
Mm.
you end up in the situation when you're doing the home care thing, it's difficult. Um, so Julie at the school, that might be interesting, especially with some of the teens that are on. I see the thing is I think that Julie, if they're gonna keep Julie around post Nigel, I can see Julie sort of slipping into once they've calmed her down a little bit with the Nigel thing, I
Slipping
feel
into,
Phil's bed, yes. I can sort of see her slipping into the role of almost Pam and having like that sort of relationship with the kids around the square.
oh no, she's
Like
no Pam.
well, I'm not saying she
No,
is
no,
Pam, but I can see her
I
slipping
know.
into that. I can see her being established in that role if they
I
decide to
I
keep Julie
feel
around after
I
Nigel.
feel like she'll be gone when Nigel's gone. I feel like she's just
Maybe.
here for Nigel. Unless her and Phil do end up, getting married and she's the next Mrs. Mitchell. No, not here
Julie
for it.
Mitchell.
Julie Mitchell.
Julie
No.
Mitchell. She's
Would that
coming.
not do you not feel that they'd both feel like they're betraying Nigel if that
Yeah,
happened?
yeah, but then Phil's done
All right.
worse.
True that.
Mm.
True that.
Penultimate story now, Kat and Zoe. So after the madness of last week, they're very much sort of the C story of the week this week. Zoe's in hospital. I
Mhm.
mean, she seems fine, doesn't she really? I think she's going to be okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we knew they weren't going to bring
Yeah.
Michelle Ryan back to kill her
Imagine if
off
they'd done
in a
that. Can you
week.
imagine if they just like killed her off last week after making
No.
so much noise about Zoe Slater coming back? Oh,
Yeah,
she's dead now. Lol.
exactly.
Fooled you.
Well, joke.
Well, jokes. That'd have been interesting. So yeah, Kat and Zoe. I mean, what do you think of their relationship at the moment? It feels like they've sort of gone back a bit because I feel like Kat was really disappointed when Zoe kept calling her Kat this week.
Oh yeah, I didn't click to that at all, but now you're saying it, yeah, definitely. Well, that is kind of how she's known her for most, like for the majority of
Mm.
her life, so you can
But they had sort of,
understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
they had sort of established the mum thing before Zoe
Mm,
left last time. So it feels like Zoe has massively sort of regressed in terms of how she sees Kat. And I wonder how much of that is self-preservation and sort of, her trying to just sort of keep her distance from her on an emotional level, and so in case she doesn't get hurt again or something, or whether she's just being a
yeah.
cow.
Well, I think it's just with everything Zoe's going through. She needs therapy, doesn't she? Then she
Oh
might
God,
start
she
calling her
does.
mum again, I think.
Yeah, she needs
Right?
months and years of therapy, that woman. A bit of a more of a mystery established with Zoe this week was when they started talking about the dad of the kids.
Yes.
So now the way that they've set that up and sort of made it quite obvious that that's a big key mystery in all of
Yeah.
this makes me think that we're going to know who the father is.
It's
And
Anthony. It's got to be Anthony. I'm adamant. Why have they brought
I
him back at the
thought,
same time?
well, yeah, I mean, but why wouldn't she tell Kat that though?
Because Kat miscarried Anthony's kid years ago.
Yes,
So does Zoe feel guilty about that entire thing that happened and don't want to admit to Kat that it's Anthony's, maybe?
maybe. I did see some theories kicking around online about who
Oh
the
no.
dad was going to be.
Go on.
But some people are sort of like, bet it's Alfie. I bet Alfie did it, and you're sort of
Oh,
like,
I've
no,
seen
please, for the
that.
love of
No,
God,
it's not
no,
Alfie.
no.
No, it's not Alfie. No,
Please, for the love of God,
no
no,
way.
no, no, no,
Nah.
no, 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 no,
No.
no, no.
No.
So yeah, that mystery's sort of in the air at the moment. I feel like that's when. I mean, when if it is Anthony, then when does that get revealed? Presumably when this next kid shows up.
Possibly, yeah. Will it take the kid to show up?
I think so.
Maybe we've got Max to return yet as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
He knows a lot more details. Do you think? Because we've seen Zoe was actually confiding in Max a lot. So we saw when she's talking to Kat, she's like, "Ask me anything except about the kids."
Mm.
And
Yeah,
then when we saw Zoe with Max, she was talking quite openly with him. So
yeah.
maybe she's already told him who the father is, and maybe Max might reveal it.
I mean, I thought it was interesting that she said to Kat, like you say, to ask me anything you like apart from the
Yeah,
kids, and then Kat asks
yeah.
her nothing but the kids, so we don't get any new answers.
Well,
You know,
mm,
Zoe has decided that she's going to go and stay with Stacey for a bit, which should be good for when Max returns, shouldn't it?
yeah, exactly. And then I think Zoe will end up, it'll be her house when Stacey does inevitably leave.
You reckon? Well, I mean, she's
Yeah.
just going to be moving in with Jean and everyone, unless
Yeah.
Stacey kicks her out, and then Zoe just ends up moving into the Vic.
No, I can picture Zoe being in the Slater house. I think it'd suit her to be. Yeah, I can picture that happening, to be fair.
Fair enough. So, I mean, it's just, I think at this point, this is more about just sort of waiting until we get answers. I feel like that's not really going to happen until Max comes back. And then
Yeah.
that's going to be obviously leading into Stacey's exit, presumably.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because this is why I think Stacey's going to exit, because they're
Mm.
trying to show that Zoe and Stacey actually really get on and that they're quite close. So
Yeah.
then Stacey's going to presumably feel quite betrayed,
Betrayed, yeah.
betrayed by Zoe
Yeah.
when it comes out. Well, and again, is she allowed to? I mean, it's Albert
I mean,
Square. Everyone gets with everyone anyway. Someone's going to get with your ex.
yeah, but by the by the laws of ratio. Yeah, and also arguably when they first started, Zoe wasn't aware who Max really was, and I sincerely doubt whether Max has told Zoe about his past sordid sex life. So, is it
Oh,
really
yeah, that's
Zoe's
true. Does she
fault?
actually know about Max
I
and
don't think she does. I feel
Stacey?
like she doesn't.
I feel like she would though, because of like what happened with Bradley. She knows about Bradley, so surely she knows about Stacey having an affair with his dad, who
I
happens to
mean,
be
she might
Max,
know about
right?
Bradley. She might know about Bradley, but I don't know whether she'll know the details of how Bradley
Mm,
died necessarily, or any
true.
of the sort of any of what happened in 2009. She might not be aware of that.
True that, because she weren't here, was she?
She
Yeah,
weren't watching
true.
EastEnders back then, so
No,
she might
too
not know what was
busy.
going on. Yeah, yeah.
Well, did you think there was anything in, Kim was going around spreading that she was what she call her, a podium dancer when she were in Ibiza, and
Oh yeah.
they all have gangs and stuff. Are you still thinking that she's going to have had some Ronnie and Roxy connection in there?
We can but hope, Ree. It's all I can
I'd
say.
love it.
I
Let's have another
mean,
flashback with them two in. Come
well,
on.
Ben Wadey at the NTAs did make a comment about what was going to be coming up in the Christmas period this year,
Hmm.
and all he would say is that it's going to be very past, present, and future.
Interesting.
So spirits of Christmas past, present,
Past,
and
present,
future,
and future.
which is interesting.
Oh,
So
well,
more faces from the past, possibly. Look, we can but dream and hope, right? I feel like, given how sort of crazy the lead up has been to Zoe's return, it feels like this could be the era to do it if they're ever going to do it.
right. Surely. Surely. Yeah, you can easily link it all in.
I mean, you couldn't,
Mm.
but the thing is, many fans are sort of like, we don't care, just make it happen.
Honestly,
We'll
literally
understand
don't
it.
care.
We don't care. We'll just make it happen. I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll have to wait and see where it all goes, but it certainly feels like we are at the start of a load of stuff that we have no idea what's coming yet.
Mm.
But bring it on. I'm very, very excited. Right, ladies and gents, let's move on to the final storyline of the week now. And this is Jack and Ravi. On to the final story now. This is Jack and Ravi. And first of all, I just want to, maybe you can help me out here with this, Ree, okay? Because I feel like none of this necessarily needed to happen. Because Jack is a policeman, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we have said actually from the start, the gun stuff has felt sort of logistically weird up to where we
Hmm.
are anyway. But like, surely all Jack needs to do, he had the gun in his possession. All he needs to do, if he wants to send Ravi down and get him out of the way, he's a policeman. And that we established this week that the police are trying to sort of find something to pin on Ravi. So surely all he needs to do is go to his superiors and say, "I just apprehended this gun off Ravi Galati. We've got everything we need, so I'll go and arrest him then, yeah." And then that
I
would be
know.
it.
I'm just thinking that, or he could just like apprehend Ravi in the street and go,
Yeah,
"What's that in your hand?" and then
yeah.
pretend that he's taking it off him or
I
something.
don't get what Ravi has on him whatsoever.
I mean, I think even Jack, I don't think Jack's daring enough to do that though. I think he wants to do it in a way that he wouldn't implicate himself, in fairness. Maybe the fact that he knows he's guilty means that he's not willing to take that kind of risk. Had Jack not been involved,
Mm.
maybe he would go and do something like that, but
But even the wrestle that ended up Zoe getting shot, like all he needs to do was saying that I was trying to get a firearm off him,
that is so true. Yeah, he could have just
and it
been
went
honest
off.
and said, "I saw him with a gun, tried to get it
Yeah,
off him, and it went off." Yeah,
this is what I mean.
yeah.
Like,
I
I feel
mean,
like there's a load of added complications into this that don't need to be there. I mean, I get it because we need a story, but at the same
yeah.
time, it's sort of like none of this needs to happen. Like, it's easy for Jack to sort this out really, really quickly.
Do you know what I actually wanted, to be fair? I don't like that they're now going to war. I'd have preferred them to have become somewhat of frenemies from
I'll
this. Would
see.
have been better.
Interesting, because actually, out of all of this, the thing that I like the most is that there's a feud going on. Because I feel like
Oh,
we haven't
right.
had like a good feud going on for a while, and Ravi, a character like Ravi, needs a feud, and it makes sense for it to be Jack, given the whole Denise
Yeah.
thing. Like that is all fine. I've got no issues with that,
Mm.
but it's just sort of like the components to get us to this point feel illogical.
I know what you mean. There are a lot of gaps, let's say. Like when Ravi was telling Priya about what happened, I'm like, why is Priya not questioning that? That doesn't make sense. That Ravi's heard that Oscar's got a gun and Jack's not doing anything about it, so he decided to take it into his own hands. Did Priya genuinely buy that? She knows she's got Ravi's number. How has she
Well,
just bought that? That made no sense to me at all.
Hey, I mean, that's where we're at. So, yeah, I mean, the whole week is basically Jack and Ravi trying to get one over up on each other because of this gun. Jack
Mm.
tries to plant the gun in Ravi's flat, which Ravi
Yeah,
then very quickly finds,
yeah,
and then is by the end of the week is saying to Jack, right, what, 100 grand? That'll make all this go away. Which
yeah.
again, there is no reason why he has any reason to think that he can get this because Jack is in a much more powerful position, surely.
Yeah, and what's Jack going to do? Transfer it to his bank account? That's not going to look dodgy, is it? Like, how is he
Exactly.
expecting to get this 100K anyway? The
Yeah,
other thing that seemed really unreasonable are Ravi as well that didn't make sense. So they made this plan to go and get rid of the gun together. Then,
yeah.
what's she called? DS Spencer or whatever her
Yes, dear
title
Spencer,
is,
yes.
turns up. And Jack's like, well, can't really do it now when DS Spencer's in my house. Tells Ravi next day, and Ravi's like, oh, no, you didn't meet up with me. It's like, he's just told you DS Spencer were there.
Yeah.
Even you're not that dumb, Ravi. Like, you'd be like, oh, fair, yeah, probably wouldn't have been a great idea to have just, left
Oh,
the
you should have
house and
shot
come and
her.
met
Should have
me.
shot her. Then
Yeah,
we could
innit?
buried her body and the gun together. Yeah, that's what should have happened.
That
Yes.
didn't make sense to me either, that he was still like, that he started beefing him for not meeting him when he had DS Spencer in his
Yeah, he had
house.
like
Like,
he had a very logical reason for
yeah,
not being there. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know, I don't know. But like I say, I mean, I don't mind the fact there's a feud going on, and I
yeah,
quite like the fact that they've not forgotten the Denise and Ravi thing either, because it did seem
yes.
that they were going to just completely pretend that that had never happened at one point, didn't it?
It did, but I'm kind of like,
Oh,
I
you
kind of
think?
hope. I think Denise might get back with him, you know. I think Denise. I think
Oh,
when
see,
Ravi and Denise had that argument, and he was like, I thought it were a great line. What did he say? Something like, "There's
so
a
I don't. I
fine
feel
line
nothing for you,
between
but
love and hate, but
I
what
feel
I
nothing
feel
is
towards you is
indifference.
indifference." So
I
like,
didn't believe him
oh
when he said that.
no, but I knew what he was trying to do.
Yeah,
I think they still have
yeah,
the hots for
and
each other.
yeah,
I'd be
because
here for that again. Well, we
yeah, because the
will
simple
anyway.
fact is that Denise was hurt by that as well, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Like she wanted Ravi to say, "Yeah, do you know what? I do still have feelings," and
Hmm.
you've and Jack's won in this scenario because otherwise there is also the feeling of would Ravi really care about Jack this much if that hadn't have happened? There is definitely an underlying factor
Yeah.
of the fact that Denise got away, essentially, isn't there?
Cheers, Jack.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
only you knew the truth, Ravi. It weren't really Denise's choice, to be honest
No,
with you.
you should be going after us, and not even us.
Not even
Not
us.
even
The
us.
other
Trust me,
us.
Rafi, we were on your side, mate. Don't go after us.
What about when he said to Jack, like, "Oh yeah, I'd be pissed off as well if I were thinking that my woman had my thighs around you and blah blah."
Yeah. Yeah,
Ravi,
it's
Ravi,
there.
Ravi.
It's there. That's what this is all about, essentially,
Yeah,
isn't it? Like, you know,
yeah,
ignoring all the madness that is going on with this actual gun.
yeah.
That is but an excuse for these two to actually
Mm.
be able to really go at each other because that is what this is all about. In fact, Jack even brought it up with Denise and tried to start a row about that this week as well, didn't he?
I
Like,
mean, I thought it made a very valid point though, because she
did
was
you?
going off and yeah, she was like, "Oh, letting that man do this, that, and other," and he's like, "Well, you were
But
sleeping with him, like pot kettle love. Come
no,
on."
but surely, Denise had made him swear on the foundations of their relationship.
Oh yeah, that was a weird line, weren't it? The
On the
foundations of our
foundations
new
of our new
relationship.
relationship, you must do as you say you are doing. Yeah.
Interesting though. That might drive her into Ravi's arms. I feel like because Denise has been saying, "Oh, he's a drug dealer and all that." It's like you knew that surely when you were getting with
You
him
knew all
before.
of
So
this.
why are
Nothing.
you acting
Yeah.
like that's a big
Nothing
deal
that
now?
you are discovering about Ravi at the moment is in any way a surprise to
Yeah.
you. You
Oh,
knew
I
that he
never
was
knew that
aggressive.
before.
No, I had
Yeah.
no idea you were this violent. Of course you did. Like
Yeah.
in fact, before you started having the affair, you and him were at loggerheads together because Ravi was doing things like threatening you and all this kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah, threatening
exactly.
to
Come on.
burn everything that she holds dear and everything.
It's like Jack says she has what did he say? Like a blind spot when it comes to him or
Was an
something.
interesting line, I thought. I thought actually maybe he has a point there.
Yeah, definitely.
And is Denise trying to maybe overcompensate a little bit, especially with this whole mad plot of like,
Hmm.
them deciding to put the flat up for sale and all of this kind of thing? It's sort of like,
I did
where
think
does this end?
couldn't Jack just give him the flat? I wondered if that was going to be the outcome of this. But now Ravi's saying, so we ended the week with Ravi saying, "Oh, we need a bigger place and we're going to move out." And I thought, where are they going to move to then? Where's
It won't be
their
anywhere
new
out the
home going to
square. Let
be?
me tell you that for free. So they
Well,
don't
that's
leave the
what.
square.
Mm,
But where the week truly does end, which is on quite an
mm,
interesting note, and I wonder if this is the beginning of like another mystery that's sort of going on at the minute. Like, who is this boss? Because it seems to
yeah,
be up to this point, we've sort of been led to believe that almost that Ravi was the boss in the situation.
yeah,
But it seems very much now that Ravi is fearfully working for some other shadowy figure. And
yeah.
they've now got Nugget and Avani in their sights, and they've taken pictures
Mm,
and stuff. I did enjoy Nugget's picture, which was very much Jaheim sort of leaning against the gate, like, yeah,
and what?
and posing a little bit. Yeah, so that's interesting. I wonder where that's going to go from
But this
here.
doesn't make sense to me either because it was
Go
Irvy's
on.
gun. So where's Irvy got it from? And is there a
Ovi.
reason that this looks like such an old-fashioned gun?
Yeah, like
You
something like
know
you'd
what I
pull
mean?
out of like one of those things that you'd find buried in a box underground somewhere, isn't it? It's like quite an
Yeah,
old revolver, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I
Is
don't
that
know.
relevant then? Because like, I
Maybe it was
don't
buried
understand.
next to Nigel's football cards.
Well, I don't. Yeah, it literally looks like that kind of age though, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
where is this? Where has Irvy got it from? In order for him to be
Oki.
like,
Who's Ovi?
okay. I keep saying Irvy. I
Ovi
just like the
Doke.
name. I
Yeah.
like the name Irvy. That's why.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Next kid, maybe then. Next kid.
Where has Oki got it from? Like,
Well, I
is
mean,
he got it
yeah.
from the guys up top? Because it were Ravi who seemed annoyed that he had it in the first place,
Yeah, well,
hence
this is the
all this
thing. Like
starting.
the whole thing with Oki's gun. What we said, like, the gun seemed to be very much an Oki thing. Like it was his
Mm,
way of sort of
yeah.
dominating and sort of asserting himself in terms of the situation with Harry. But then, if it turns out that this gun is actually from somewhere else, somewhere higher
Mm,
up, and that Oki's role in the sort of I don't know how you call it, the conglomerate of whatever this gang is,
yeah.
like his position in the hierarchy, so to say, is maybe more questionable. Like,
Like, is it
why
higher up than we
is he higher?
thought?
Yeah,
Yeah.
is like if you say that Ravi was sort of like because we kind of thought that Ravi was sort of like higher up, but like maybe yeah,
Well, it's
he's got
like
Mr. Big giving him the drugs to deal with, but ultimately Ravi was sort of in charge of the whole sort of
I think
operation. But
I think Ravi was like maybe Erky's line manager, but then
yeah,
like he
yeah,
seems to have gone to
he's
the
it turns out he's just
general
Oki's
manager now.
supervisor. Yeah, whenever there's a
You know what I
problem,
mean?
Oki rings the bell underneath his till, and Ravi comes
He's
wandering
gone
up
to
and
HR,
checks
hasn't
the
he?
£50
Okay.
note.
He's gone to HR. He's gone to
Yeah,
HR and gone,
yeah, he
and they're like,
has.
right.
As soon as Oki holds up a Scottish pound note, Ravi's over checking it for the validity. Um, yeah, so interesting. I want to sort of. I'm
Mm,
interested in that kind of thing. I do say though that everything that's happening with Jack, Ravi, and the gun, that's all nonsense. That doesn't make
yeah,
any
I
sense.
agree. A lot
That
of it, yeah.
is what I would say. Um, yeah, Ravi and Denise, you could have a point. I wonder if that's going to be a thing again. I feel like if Ravi's sole intention at this point is just to get at Jack, I feel
Mm.
like he's at the very least going to try and seduce Denise again.
Well, if you think about it, Denise asked Jack outright. He lied. But, based upon the foundations of our new relationship,
Mm,
he lied to her. Ravi told her the truth, to be
mm,
fair. To be
yeah,
fair to him. Does she trust
the
Ravi
most
more
honest.
then now?
Yeah, I mean the fact that he's telling Denise more truth than he's telling Priya.
Yeah. Exactly. And I was just thinking that as well. What do you think to Ravi and Priya then? Because they're back on, fully back on, aren't they, this
I mean,
week?
this is what the fans wanted. Like this, the whole Jack, Denise, Ravi thing had nothing to do with Denise. This was all to do with
No.
Priya, wasn't it? Like this is why people voted for Jack and
Mm,
Denise to get back together because they wanted to see Ravi and Priya back together, which I
mm,
get. And they do work really well together. Their chemistry
yeah,
on screen is fantastic, and I thought that Priya was amazing this week in terms of the
she
amount of
was.
emotion she was putting behind
Yeah.
it all. They are going to have to go a little bit, I think, of giving Priya a sort of sense of naivety about what Ravi's actually up to, which is always frustrating to watch. But it kind of the role of her in the story sort of requires it at this point, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, this is kind of what's annoyed me. I actually don't want Ravi and Priya together now after this week. Well,
Ooh.
because for Priya's sake, I love Ravi. You know, I'm a Ravi stan,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Can do
Oh,
no wrong.
I
Bit of
was a
drug
Ravi
dealing,
stan as soon as he
wherever.
put
Bit
that
of gun
apron on.
crime,
Jesus
whatever,
Christ.
Ravi.
Yeah.
And I think when Priya said something, she said something like, everything in my gut is like
Mm.
telling me to run away in this and other. I thought, listen to it, Priya.
Run, run. Yeah.
Run. No, stop. Like, you're right. Your gut's right. Don't not listen to it. Don't let him talk you round. And he has. But
Mm.
maybe that just shows, what a hold he's got over her, which is
Well,
not good.
the thing is, though, do you consider Ravi to be a villain?
Well, this is it. I didn't until recently. I think he'd redeemed himself. Now we've gone back a step.
He's definitely got certainly a more villainous role in this story, but I can't believe that we're supposed to be 100% behind Jack at this point either. Because if anything, Jack's telling more lies than Ravi is at this stage. Like Ravi, at the very least, is being fairly upfront and honest about the fact that yeah, I'm a criminal. Yeah, I'm doing this to sort of bring money to money to the
Mm,
table. He lies this week and says that he's managed to sort things out with Bernie stealing the money, so he's got that money back, which I'm presuming is going to be a cover up when
yeah.
he's eventually planning on getting this 100 grand off Jack.
Yeah. Mm.
So.
I feel like Ravi, to be honest, had we not seen the Kurjo side and him being
Mm,
okay with okay, taking the flat,
yeah.
maybe wouldn't have thought he were a villain. But the fact that he did that to Kurjo makes me think, yeah, you are a villain. Whereas with Jack, is he doing things the right way? Absolutely not. But I feel like with Jack, it's a bit more of a like series of unfortunate events. He didn't really have malice behind any of it other than trying to plant the gun on Ravi, but
Mm.
arguably, he's keeping a dangerous man off the streets. This is the other thing, though, in fairness, right? Ravi took that gun, uh, told Harry to take the gun from Erky because he didn't trust him with it. And
Mm.
actually, I think Ravi doesn't agree with gun crime anyway, but at no point has he said this to Jack and explained, actually, I was also trying to get that gun off the streets because this idiot who works for me had got hold of it and I didn't trust him with it. So I was trying to get it off the streets as much as you. He's not said any of that. He's just like, yeah, I've got a gun and what? And
Yeah.
what? Yeah, it's from my circles,
I
mate.
mean, I don't know if I'd put that much sort of faith in Jack's motives, to be honest. I feel like
Mm.
all of this is just to do with Denise. I feel like Jack's motives entirely
He's
rest on the
just,
door
oh, right.
of him being jealous of and being paranoid
Just
about
hating
having to.
Ravi.
Because otherwise, he wouldn't have brought that up in that argument to the end with Denise this week. Like that has always, you can tell
True.
that that has always been there, just beneath the surface, and he was just waiting for the opportunity to bring
Mm.
that up.
Well, what about you and Stacey, Jack? Come on.
I mean, that would have been
Throwing
that
bricks in glass houses.
should have been Denise's natural response, especially seeing as though I'm pretty sure that Jack and Stacey were having a full blown affair, and Denise and Ravi never actually had an affair.
Exactly.
They did
Literally.
kiss, and she nearly did it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not painting Denise in any
Yeah,
sort of
yeah, yeah.
angelic light with that. But in terms of the actual
Tit for
momentum of the
tat.
relationship, then they're as bad as each other in that respect.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
time will tell. Gold star this week, right?
Oh, do you know what? I'm giving it to Priya.
Fair. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm stuck this week. I might give mine to Nigel this week.
Oh, okay,
I
fair.
did
Yeah.
enjoy the stuff with
Not
Nigel.
Julie.
Nearly Julie.
You
Oh,
love
actually,
Julie.
I do love
Okay.
Julie actually. And to be fair, it nearly was Julie. And then he said Julie just to wind you up. But no, it went to Nigel this week. Nigel, but Julie, let me tell you, she's on her way to a gold star lady. Let me tell you. Yes. Right, ladies and gents. Before we finish the podcast, as usual, we've got some news and some comments from you. Right, folks, before we get to the comments, a bit of news. Serious face for this one. I've not done one of these before. EastEnders star Jamie Borthwick has been axed from the show after 19 years. This comes after he was suspended by the BBC after using a slur against disabled people on the set of Strictly Come Dancing. A BBC studio spokesperson has said, "We can confirm that Jamie Borthwick will not be returning to EastEnders. We do not comment on individual matters." There's not a lot we can say about this. The situation is what it is. I would say a shame for it to end this way for him after so long
Yeah.
on the show.
19 years. I didn't
19
realise it had
years,
been
it's a
that
long
long.
time.
Yeah.
I feel like it's, as much as people were a fan of Jay as a character, I don't think it's going to be an
Huge
absolute,
fan of you. Sorry,
yeah.
not going to lie.
But
Devastated,
I feel
but
like it's not going to be much of a trial to sort of write him out of the show either, is it? So in
no,
terms of the
not at the
character.
moment. Yeah, he's not been in it that much recently, has he, to be fair?
No, from the sound of things, I feel like we've already seen his final scene as well. So we're not going to
That's
be
what
seeing.
people keep saying, don't they?
Oh,
But
apparently
it's
that
not been
is
announced that we've seen it, has
no.
it?
Apparently he's not going back. Like
Oh, he's
the
not
last
going
scene. No,
back.
he filmed his last scene before he got suspended, and then that was it. So we have seen his final scene, and
Right.
that's it for Jay.
Oh.
So that's that.
Oh.
So there we go. That's that. It's
Okay.
not entirely pleasant news, but probably needed to be said in terms of just news about the show.
hmm
Comments this week, Ray.
We've got a comment here from Andy Hercules Einstein Ormerod, who says,
Mm.
"Was Jax, the experienced policeman with things to hide, curd for his safe 1, 2, 3, 4?"
Yes, it
Oh
was.
yeah,
Yes,
it
it
was.
was. Yeah, I meant to bring this up earlier. Yeah, Jack
Totally forgot
the
about that.
Jack Master Detective. I mean, I don't think we even knew that Jack had a safe before this week, did we? I can't remember ever seeing a safe in
No,
his
I had
wall
no
before.
idea that he had one. Maybe it's
No,
a thing that
it's
the richer folk on Albert Square seem to
apparently
have hidden
so.
behind a picture frame.
Apparently so, but yeah, his code was 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can totally see his thinking behind that. He's thinking he's doing some amazing double bluff and thinking, yeah, there's
Yeah.
no way that anybody will think that I, Detective Jack Branning, would ever have such an easy code on my safe. I
But
mean,
you know what?
when you go into
Yeah.
a hotel or something and
Yeah.
you're sort of playing with the safe that you get in there. I don't know about anybody else. The first thing I type into idly is just 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4 or 0, 0, 0, 0,
yeah,
because that
all
tends
that.
to be one of them, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was just going to say then, do you think it's going to be because somebody's going to break into his safe and find it, so they wanted to show us that an easy occurred? But it's Ravi who's got it, isn't it?
But then
Isn't
Ravi,
it?
I think, would be like, they would try, because the thing is, with a safe code, right? You're either going to do people's birthdays or
Yeah.
something really easy, like the word password for your password or something like that,
Yeah.
aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
One,
Phil.
two, three, four.
Phil didn't. What were Phil's
No.
when
Well,
England won
Phil,
World Cup in 60s or something like
yeah, but I
that?
think it was also Ben and Peggy's birthday as well.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
were
So
it. All
you'd
right.
have
So
to
it was
work a
still a
little bit
birthday as
harder.
well.
I mean,
Mm.
that's the difference, isn't it? Criminal mastermind and
hmm
Jack. Shauna Askew has said, "Will Phil scatter Nigel's ashes by that tree, I wonder?" That's a nice point. Yeah, I can
Oh.
see that happening because it seems to be something that meant quite a lot to Nigel. It's quite a
Mm.
picturesque location. Phil likes running away from that gameskeeper, so that'll be fun for him to do as well.
Yeah, had two nice moments there, one with Grant
Yeah,
and one with Phil. Maybe it's something Phil and Julie might end up arguing about as well down the line. I wonder
they'll
how
have
they're
that.
going to go about all
They'll
that.
have that grief sex by against that tree. You mark my words.
No, 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 no.
Never know.
Susan Perry says, "I was getting real detectorist vibes from Nigel and Phil. Beautifully written and lovely that we are getting to see the real Phil so much more than the angry cartoon gangster."
I completely and utterly agree. I love this
Yeah.
side of Phil, and I'm really
hmm
pleased that they've sort of kept it going as well. Like Nigel has
Yeah.
been perfect with Phil in terms of character
Yeah.
development, hasn't he? He really, really
Yeah.
has. And
Really good
fair
timing.
play to the Wadester for coming in and saying, "Do you know what? I like that. We'll keep that
We'll
going." It's
keep
been
that
some,
going.
yeah, it's really nice. I mean,
Yeah, it
yeah,
could.
he did offer police officers dad to his face, but
Yeah.
that side of Phil will never go away.
No, that's it. It makes it more realistic, if anything, because he
There
is
you
still
go.
going to have that side, isn't he?
Layers, layers. That's why Steve McFadden won that award, let me tell you.
hmm
And Sarah Gee has said, "I'm really invested in Zoe's return and the build-up of her relationship with Kat. They're doing it so well, in my opinion. I do wish Zoe would try a little more. I'm sure it's been pointed out they ended on good terms, so she's not sure why she suddenly hates Kat so much." I mean, we discussed this. I don't know if it's the fact that she hates Kat. I feel like she's just overdoing it with the self-preservation a little bit.
Think. She's just had time to go away, overthought everything. For all we know, she might have had an abusive relationship with somebody, and somebody
Mm,
who's constantly saying to her, you know, that line that I don't know if we mentioned it when she first said it, that line she said about I'm a incestuous rape baby were
yeah,
quite whoa. It makes you wonder, has somebody been saying that to her maybe? So now she's had it drilled into her head that she shouldn't like cat. Maybe somebody's, tried to be a bit coercive with her to turn her against her family. Or
maybe.
it could just be that Zoe's gone away and been mulling everything over about her life. For me, I don't think it's that unrealistic for her to be like this, actually. I find it quite believable that she's like this towards Kat. I know it
Mm,
seems a bit out of the blue from when we last saw them,
yeah.
but
Well,
given the circumstances,
yeah, I mean, and we still have to learn exactly what's been going on in Zoe's life
yeah,
over the past 20
mm,
years as well, which sounds like it's been rather a lot.
exactly.
So I think as soon as we discover the
Yeah,
identity of a few people, then it might
yeah.
start to make a bit more sense in terms of why she's so kind of keeping cats at
It
arm's length at the moment.
it could also be when you think about it, Zoe doesn't want to admit to all like the mistakes she's made in these past
Mm,
20 years. So instead of going taking accountability for herself, she's going, well, of course this is going to happen with a mother like Kat. I mean, she made
yeah.
me think my own grandparents were my parents. And then in her way, in
Yeah,
her
yeah,
head,
yeah.
she's blaming her mum for
Yeah,
all the
I mean,
mistakes she's made over the years.
I would venture that self-accountability has never been one of Zoe's strong points. even
Exactly.
even back in the day. So yeah,
Hmm.
she is acting pretty much in character at the moment, but it's sort of like I'm intrigued to sort of see exactly what's been going on. The identity of this father, which, like we said, was really established as like a central mystery to sort of unfold this week,
Hmm.
and who these kids are as well. I feel like I said, we're going to be watching any new entrant that comes into the show at the minute, like a hawk, and sort of
Hmm.
seeing, studying their age, sort of studying their story, seeing if there's any flaws in it. We shall see. We'll get there before the show reveals it. Trust Detective Robin Ree. Right, ladies and gents, that's it this week. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple and wherever you find your podcasts. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Yes, you can indeed. And make sure, ladies and gents, that you are following us on our socials. We may or may not have something a little bit exciting to announce a little quite soon. Hmm.
Mm,
You just wait. Right, we'll see you same time next week. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
goodbye from me.
See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.